nice. Look at that thing.
I know, look at his teeth.
I know.
And so he said
Hey,
it's been
Popo.
rather wearing on him, and I said, Dad, you know, I mentioned this before.
I heard you say.
I want to mention it again because I want to make sure that you understand. You know, there are adult daycare places or services that are out there. I don't know precisely which ones are offered or how they're offered or where they're offered in your vicinity, but you have a source right across the road. Go over there and ask those people what they know, and if they have, maybe there's another service, or you can get on the net and go to Alzheimer's and find out what else is out there, because it said
Social worker.
the social work or something. There are programs, and I said, he goes, well, I don't know if I could get her to go to something like that. I said, well, you know, the main point here is that you don't drive yourself into the ground.
She
I said,
doesn't
if
make
you
the
get
decision,
sick,
you do.
You get sick,
Yeah.
you know, then neither of you have the ability to stay with it here. I mean, you can't obviously get sick, and then what do you think's going to happen to her if you're sick?
She's not going to be able
You
to
know.
make any of these
No,
decisions.
she's not going to stay by herself, and if you're in the hospital or whatever, and you know,
I'll put her someplace.
you know, yeah, it will happen.
Yeah.
And well, I think he's like, you know, probably like, well, that's the way it'll have to be, sort of thing. Like that's going to be the nth hour, sort of.
He's not going to do anything in between.
He hasn't said that.
Oh.
He hasn't said that, but I'm getting that feeling that he's like procrastinating or sticking his head in the sand or whatever you want to call that. But it's a way of denial, of putting it off, of not having to deal with it. You know, and what I'm telling him is, if you want to maintain your health and you want to have some free time to do your own thing, you're going to have to look into this way of,
and that's not selfish.
And if she
it's
won't
okay.
do it, then you've got a problem, because you're going to have more and more of this belligerence, and that is a part of Alzheimer's.
Oh.
They become belligerent. They won't do, like he said, she wouldn't eat the other day. You know, well, it's going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? You're going to wait
And
till
like
it's
you
so
said,
bad and you can't deal with it.
Then, like you said, maybe these people can give you some hints and
Give you-
ideas.
They
on
may have a lot of pointers. They
techniques.
may have suggested services available. They
Mhm.
may, a lot of these things may be able to be worked out. I don't know the dollar amounts. I don't know the coverage.
Yeah.
I don't know any of that, but they would know
Mhm.
the coverage. They would know
Yeah.
what to expect. And then you have to weigh all that against what your resources are.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sorry, to me, it's an analytical method of looking
Yeah.
at it, and I'm from the outside here probably a little more than he is, because
But
he's
you
at
know
ground
what?
zero.
It's the way they dealt with Grandma too.
Right.
It was his attitude. She doesn't want me to sell the house.
Well,
So
yeah,
you
at the end,
can't-
she didn't know you were, I mean, I think a lot of people do this denial thing, and live with something forever and ever until, you know, it's almost like their
it's a
depression.
martyrism.
Well, or their depression gets the best of them, and it's kind of like, well, this is kind of like the last straw, and it'll just happen. You know, death or whatever will just happen.
It's like your brother. You let it go to the point where then
Which
there's
is ridiculous, because
then-
it doesn't happen
Yeah.
when you think it would happen. It doesn't happen that way. What happens is it just gets worse until you're so miserable that you dug yourself into a deep ditch of depression and inability to cope with it. You can't cope with your daily living,
Yeah.
which just
No.
makes things worse. So what I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell him to do is be proactive. Go talk to them, get on the phone, talk to these people, or go over there, whatever you can do, but find out your possibilities. Look at you don't have to like sign on the dotted line when you go there, just find out all the possibilities and then deal with it.
Has he like secured the? Well, you probably didn't ask him if he secured the doors. What does she do when she gets up in the middle of the night? Did he say?
I didn't get into it with him. It didn't really
Yeah.
matter, because I mean, I don't have to know what degree she goes to do all this stuff. I mean, I don't need to know that. I mean, I can find that out. If I need to deal with it, then I will find out about it at that moment. Because I would assess it as of that moment. I wouldn't go, well, she used to do this. I mean, it's obvious she's doing more confusing things than
It's
she
changing.
did before.
Yeah, she went for a long time not doing
I mean,
anything
she was very
like
pleasant.
that.
She talked to me on the phone this morning, but I'm pretty sure she didn't really know who I was, or
Yeah.
who Brad was, or where I was.
But I
or-
mean, she went a long time with just with being
and she was
just
very
fine.
pleasant as
Yeah.
far as, you know, what doing this morning? Well, I don't know. Well, did you have breakfast this morning? Yeah. Oh yeah, I ate a long time ago.
And she probably did.
Well, and then well, what are you going to do the rest of the day? I don't know. What are we going to do the rest of the day? What'd you have for breakfast? I don't know. And then Dad's spieling off what she had for breakfast, and she's repeating it. Well, she didn't even repeat it that well, which is, she's having a hard time repeating what he's telling her, or it's a disinterest in what he's telling her to repeat it. Before maybe it was like, oh well, I better repeat everything he says. Now it's kind of like, man, here, take the phone. She just hands the phone out. She doesn't have a desire to stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the disease too. So I don't, what are you going to do? You know the progress of this disease unless it becomes treatable all of a sudden. It's treatable to the extent of these medicines she's on, but I think beyond that, unless this vaccine is can she get into one of those trials? Is there a place in Florida that she could?
Does the vaccine reverse things?
Well, apparently it can. It certainly is, apparently from what they say, and this is not done in, I think it's just now going into the study on humans. I think it's only been done on animals. Mm-hmm. I don't think, and they say it stops the progress of the disease anatomically. Physiologically, I think too, because I think they've done some test models that they can prove. I don't know how they do that. Obviously, you can't talk to a rat and say, do you remember your mother?
No, but they do the testing things with the rats.
There's a test that proves whether the thing remembers a specific process or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they do that precisely, but the model they feel somehow is working. And I think they're moving into adult testing here in the next year. Well, it could come none too soon, obviously, for somebody who's got the disease and is progressing, or who's ready to die of it. But the question is, will it even be available by the time 2, 3, 4 years from now, or whenever she gets worse and worse? It's a continuous progression of getting worse. But
Megan was very.
Maybe if you're in a test.
Megan.
You'd like to go in the car, huh?